For the longest time, I just refused to look at my bank account. It was a source of instant, gut-wrenching anxiety. Here I was, 25 years old, making decent money, but I had absolutely no clue where it was all going. The very idea of a budget? It felt like putting myself in a financial prison, and I wanted no part of it. But eventually, the regret of wasting so much money on impulse buys and things I didn't even care about became more painful than the fear of facing the numbers. And what I found on the other side of that fear wasn't restriction, it was peace. So today, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I took to go from total financial chaos to finally feeling in control. My turning point wasn't some big, dramatic meltdown. It was a quiet Tuesday night, doom scrolling through my banking app. I decided to actually add it up. I was spending nearly $200 a week on takeout, and I was only making around $37,000 a year. My vacation fund, my emergency savings, my future, was all being delivered in a paper bag and eaten on the couch. That's when the regret really hit me. I saw friends stressing about being broke, and here I was, doing the exact same thing while just pretending it wasn't happening. I realized that ignoring my money wasn't freedom, it was a trap. The cheap thrill of spending without thinking was being replaced by this nagging feeling that I was failing my future self. It was time for a change. The first thing I did was the absolute hardest. I tracked every single dollar. For 1 month, I wrote it all down. Not just the big stuff like rent, but every coffee, every little subscription, every late-night add-to-cart moment. There are tons of apps for this, but honestly, a simple spreadsheet was all I needed. And I'm not going to lie, it was awful at first. Seeing it all there in black and white was genuinely cringeworthy. The amount of money that just vanished on things that brought me zero real joy was shocking. But here's the thing, this step isn't about judging yourself. It's about getting an honest picture of where you are. You can't make a map to where you're going if you don't know your starting point. This is the painful, but necessary, foundation for everything else. Once I survived tracking my spending, it was time for a plan. I needed something simple, so I started with the 50/30/20 rule. It's a concept developed by bankruptcy expert and U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, and it's what finally made budgeting click for me. Here's the breakdown: you take your after-tax income and split it. 50% for needs *, this is the must-have stuff: rent, utilities, groceries, and minimum debt payments. 30% for wants *, this is the fun stuff: dining out, hobbies, that new thing you've been eyeing. It's not about cutting out fun, it's about being intentional with it. 20% for savings and debt *, this is where you pay yourself first, building your emergency fund, investing, or attacking debt. And just like that, I had a roadmap. It wasn't about what I couldn't spend, but about telling my money where I wanted it has to go. For the first time, I had a framework. By the way, if setting this all up sounds like a headache, I get it. I created a simple budget template based on this exact rule, and it's yours for free. It's the same one I used to get started, and you can grab it at the link in the description. Okay, the next thing I did was the real game changer. I automated my savings. I learned the hard way that relying on my own willpower to move money at the end of the month was a recipe for failure. So, I took my willpower completely out of the equation. I set up an automatic transfer from my checking account to a separate high-yield savings account. That 20% for savings? It gets moved the day after I get paid, before I even see it or have a chance to spend it. If your goal is to save $5,000 in a year, that's just a recurring transfer of about $417 a month. This one move builds the habit for you. It's the definition of pay yourself first, and it guarantees you're making progress. The most surprising thing about this whole process wasn't just having more money. It was the emotional shift. That constant, low-grade anxiety about my finances was replaced with a sense of calm and control. Having a plan actually gave me permission to spend on my wants without feeling guilty, because I knew my needs and savings were already handled. Then you start to celebrate the small wins. That first week I skipped my usual takeout and saw an extra $50 in my account felt incredible. Watching my emergency fund cross that first $1,000 felt like a massive achievement. These little victories create momentum and make you want to keep going. So, that's how I did it. I went from actively avoiding my bank account to actually managing my financial future. The process is simple, really. First, track your spending to see what's actually happening. Second, create a simple budget like the 50/30/20 rule to give every dollar a job. And third, automate your savings so you're always putting your future self first. If you're 25 and feel like your finances are a joke, just know you aren't alone, and it's never, ever too late to start. You can absolutely do this. What's the one financial habit you're trying to build right now? Let me know in the comments below. And if this was helpful, please subscribe for more videos on taking control of your money.